The smoke clears the air. I'm the only one standing. The darkness lifts. There lies the freedom in front of me. So I will start on this day. The rise of kingdoms to come, and we will no longer be named by the weather above. So rain down all you want, but our power is in the sun. And when our planets do align, our nation will become victorious.
Let it be, all that weakness, rest in peace. I learned about the recipe when I was younger, recklessly. Now I'm chasing the glory, gonna be fine. Working so hard, matter of time. Never give up, how we define. Taking my chances, breaking a climb. I'ma show them how it's done. On the top level we run. For Osiris, for my son. We show up and pack a punch. This is war, we step up, we gon' never fold. This is legacy, they gon' know me when I go.
So rain down all you want, but our power is in the sun. And when our planets do align, our nation will become victorious. Swords where you stand and spit upon the ground. But when those horns sound off, pray to the Lord, you've been righteous now. I say rain down all you want, but our power is in the sun. And when our planets do align, our nation will become victorious.
This is war, we don't stop, what's in store, where we start, we deploy. They don't wanna see us win, so we gon' show them all the voice. To the top, we enjoy, when my partners don't avoid. Want the glory, silence noise, here for life, made a choice.
The smoke clears the air. I'm the only one standing. The darkness lifts. There lies the freedom in front of me. So I will start on this day. The rise of kingdoms to come, and we will no longer be named by the weather above. So rain down all you want, but our power is in the sun. And when our planets do align, our nation will become victorious.
Let it be, all that weakness, rest in peace. I learned about the recipe when I was younger, recklessly. Now I'm chasing the glory, gonna be fine. Working so hard, matter of time. Never give up, how we define.
Wake up, sundown, creatures and gods around. the dark. Climb from below. Temples and tombs will fall down. Explore the realms. What is meant to be, take it all. Obey, hear the voice of God. And the best come to your sacred land. Make way to the afterlife. What was once your palace, now your grave. Awaken your soul. Dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and sharpen up your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings. Find your destiny and the magic and the omen of the mind.
Hey, to have peace, yes, Lord, there must be strife. I already see the end of life. I accepted death, my eyes are open. I read and told them there's a light. Eternal life awaits me, yes. No one can dare deny me. Yeah. I gladly give my life. All my people can my kingdom point the way. There's a small price to pay. To God to pray every day. To the promised land, I understand the higher, the highest height. And the lower, the lowest depths. I'm not afraid of my last breath. Life ain't nothing but a test. May the gods only know what's next.
Alarms, hear the voice of God, and the best come to your sacred land. Make way to the afterlife. What was once your palace, now your grave. Awaken your soul. Dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and sharpen up your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings. Find your destiny and the magic and the omen of the mind.
My eyes are open, eternal morning. The crown is golden. I have been chosen. My eyes are open, eternal morning. The crown is golden. I have been chosen.
Awaken your soul. Dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and sharpen up your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings. Find your destiny and the magic and the omen of the mind.
Hello everyone and welcome to the official Rise of Kingdoms channel. My name is Dragothian. I'm going to be your host and caster today. This is going to be the second phase of matches at 15 UTC today, where we will get the pleasure, and I will have the opportunity, to watch with you two really strong teams coming up in the next couple minutes. We have 60 GT, three-time prior Osiris League season champion, versus the unchampioned WIB from Kingdom 1846. Now, if you also had the pleasure of joining me in the 13 UTC match where we saw SW go down to F84D, we saw that SW was in KVK and ended up prioritizing KVK instead of the Osiris League match. WIB is also in that very same KVK, so we're going to be interested to see here in the caster's booth if they will be, in fact, joining us today. I want to say that they will. In fact, I know that they will. It'll be 60 GT versus WIB. WIB's not going to pass up the opportunity to dethrone 60 GT and take the next step in the evolution of this Season 7 of the Osiris League and get to the finals and possibly be crowned champion against the winner of the other side of the bracket, which would be 1EE8 versus A0 or AO77, also being played at 15 UTC. Really curious to see how this match goes. I think this is something that everybody has been wanting to take a peek at. Looking forward to seeing this matchup, and I think that a lot of folks are going to be really interested to see if WIB has fully taken that next step. So far as I'm aware, if I can remember correctly, again, having done this all 7 seasons, it all blurs together. WIB, I don't think, has made it past the semifinals. In fact, I'm pretty sure they haven't. If not, This will be their possibility of the first opportunity to get that direction. And again, they're going to have their task in order going up against, again, the winningest alliance inside of the Osiris League system, 60 GT, winning two championships in the realm of Anubis and one championship in the realm of, I believe, Bastet. So very, very strong competitors here. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the match and see what we have to bring to you today. So we do have both teams joining the squad here. We have on the top left, again, the reigning champion, 60 GT, porting in the front here. We have Sewell leading the charge here. And we also have DC Alano also as the officers contingent. Now, we do have one piece missing. Sometimes that can be a little tricky. We do have 29 of the 30 players in. I'm sorry. This might actually be all 30 players. We have 21, 27, 28, 29. So I was right. 29 players so far. Maybe one reinforcement coming in to get the ball rolling. Let's go ahead and turn on some tunes in the background too. Some of our fantastic Osiris League curated music for you all to listen to while you get to hear my silky smooth voice commentate and cast this match for you. Conversely, we have on the bottom right, the red team, the challengers, WIB, and they are here in full force, ready to rock and roll. All 30 are here and ready to move forward. We have Dayon leading the charge here on the base. We have Jojal, number 2, and Laguna 46 as the officer posts. So, with that being said, I'm going to look to see if there's any kind of shenanigans or change of strategy as we've gotten into the semifinals. This match will dictate who goes to the finals to face off against the other bracket champion from that match to finally play in the finals, best of 3, to see who wins the realm of Anubis. We do have 60 GT again. Last match, we did see a very strong and well-executed strategy from F84D in the realm of Bastet, where they ended up taking the obelisk away from Smash Squad and effectively making the map 3/4 blue, and then leaving only 1/4 of the map red for the Smash Squad. And then they also smashed the Smash Squad in the middle as well, effectively really cutting off the ability for Smash Squad to play. Now, in this match, look to see a little bit more of a typical opening. We should see T1 marches coming out from both of these front squads here to try and capture the obelisks for their respective side as quickly as possible. Other problem's going to be because I have a different view now, I don't have the visibility to see everything that's happening as it's supposed to. What I'm seeing is what each team, opposing team is seeing here, where we open up the map and then everything goes dark until you start to see what's going on there. In fact, let me go ahead and go out and go back in to see if maybe this will fix itself, or if I need to go ahead and notify somebody, because if they're not going to show up, I don't even have visibility on the buildings either. So let me go ahead and go back out here. Let's go and jump back into the caster's booth. I'm going to quit and then go back in and see if maybe I got the wrong button pushed or something like that. That's very possible. You never know. Okay, so we have Realm of Anubis. We have 60 GT and WIB, and I'm going to enter. Let's see what happens. I do have the correct view now, so maybe I just hit the wrong button. My apologies. We're back into the game. Now, we see some stuff. Now we can see what's going on. We have 2 obelisks taken by 60 GT first. We do have WIB taking their closest obelisk, with the second one getting taken right now by Jojal. So a little bit delayed, but not too bad. That's 3 minutes on that one, 2:48, so about 12 seconds behind. That's within the scope of, cost of doing business. Now, we do have more marches coming into the middle as well, likely to go ahead and assault some of these outposts. Although this is a lot of folks going to possibly assault outposts. I doubt they're going to go to the middle this early with 10 minutes and 30 seconds left. The other option is they're going to go through the middle and then try and get around this area here to hit WIB from behind. That's the other option that could possibly be happening right in front of us. That would be a little bit different than the normal. Again, usually when folks are hitting their hidden sentries, they're placing them over in this area here so that they can see who's coming and which direction they're going. That may be a little bit of a strategy from 60 GT to throw off some of their visibility. Now, I do see some folks from WIB doing the same thing, but not nearly as many, only a few. And again, these are likely to be contingents. That's weird. I wonder if this is a bit of scouting by WIB. So again, this is not normal for most teams to do, that I've seen anyway. Most teams are going through the outside lane like they've always done. 60 GT is going through the middle here to assault not only the outpost, but also likely to come around the backside to hit folks that are coming in. Now, WIB coming over here to position themselves, maybe it's scouting from 60 GT as well. You never know which one has got the upper hand here, but I do know that 60 GT has way more marches coming this direction than WIB does coming up here, and this will be a slaughter, in my opinion, for 60 GT as they start to wear down the WIB contingent coming over here. They're going to have to turn around and go back, and you do have the rally coming up, likely going towards the outpost. This is only 500,000 troops you can have inside of those outposts. Let's go over here to the Desert Altar. We do see 60 GT stacking up, WIB stacking up as well. We have a minute and a half, a little over, remaining until these buildings unlock. Let me check the top just to make sure there was no crazy things happening. We do have a hidden sentry by WIB being placed up here, which is smart. We do also see a bit of a quick clash happening. Here comes the actual bulk here. WIB pushing forward on the Desert Altar. 84 seconds left. That's a minute and 23 seconds until this building unlocks. WIB pushing on towards the Desert Altar with everything they've got. 60 GT seeing the engagement happen, going ahead and posting up, doing the same and returning the fire. We do have an outpost under assault here of 60 GT. May or may not go down. We'll take a peek at that and see, make sure that it's going to stay up or go down. This fight has not started yet, although, of course, as soon as I start looking at it, that's when the fight starts. That's how good we are here in the caster's booth. They wait until I'm ready to watch, and you're ready to watch. So here we go. We do have the fight going down on the bottom altar. Again, you want to make sure that you get the altars as quickly as possible for either team, because those 750 first occupation score points are critical, and a lot of these matches, especially today, we saw are coming down to the wire, where you need those last few points to win those battles. So this is big for both teams here. I do see a lot more marches for 60 GT going back. WIB clearing the field here pretty well. Let's see if maybe WIB is doing the same thing up here too. Oh my goodness, WIB might actually take both of these based off of what I'm seeing. We see a lot of 60 GT marches going back. This is not something that I'm familiar with seeing. We see a lot of 60 GT losing the open field fight, and this is something that you don't see 60 GT do very often, and that's win or lose an open field fight against an opponent. Even some of the biggest tier cream of the crop alliances have lost handily to 60 GT. WIB has done it. They've taken 2 of the 3 altars. Now, both sky altars are in blue. This is supposed to be 60 GTs. WIB didn't send too much up here, but they did lose this sky altar. Looks like 60 GT did pressure this pretty significantly, although it looks like they won't be able to hold it per se. And then eventually, again, with the Desert Altar and Sky Altars providing 750 first occupation score points, 2 minutes 30 seconds until these go for their respective colors. This may flip back, but 60 GT is holding firm over here. Looks like WIB has not enough folks over here to take this, and this may actually go blue for the first occupation. We'll have to see how it plays out. We do have the Shrine of Life under assault. 60 GT is trying to take their Shrine of War back away from WIB. WIB was able to grab that during the first push. Looks like they're not going to be able to keep it, although we do have a stream of reinforcements coming in from Ash, although again, that's one player, so you can only stick one of those marches in at a time. If you can do a good job of juggling or maybe keep it long enough, I don't know. Nope, there it goes. 60 GT gets it. 60 GT, again, only down a Desert Altar right now, but they're up a Sky Altar. So altars are even at the moment. 60 GT holding the Sky Altar really, really well. Yuan 9 choosing not to kill his troop. There we go. Get back in there and kill your troops so you can get your march back faster. Looks like WIB is coming back here to try and take this before this secures for 60 GT. We do have 750 points for this Sky Altar up for grabs. WIB is doing a good job of grabbing that back, but it's going to require a few more troops, a few more reinforcements. And with 5 minutes and 30 seconds until this middle arc fight begins, or at least starts, the arc being dropped, we are going to have a little bit of a time crunch for WIB on the top lane here. I'm curious to see if they're going to be able to pull it out. Let's go check the Desert Altar here on the top lane as well. Looks like 60 GT is doing a great job of clearing it too. There may be no first occupation score shenanigans. Sky Altar is taken by WIB and Desert Altar is taken by 60 GT. So everybody's going to get their own first occupation scores here. Sky Altar is still very much blue and only 1 minute until it secures the points. Hidden Sentry placed by 60GT right beside the Temple of Osiris. We do have Nerf already here, throwing around a Nerf bat, trying to make sure that he keeps the entire contingent of WIB back in their own area. Let's see what this looks like from the WIB perspective. I guess you can't tell. Hold on. This is what it looks like from the 60GT perspective. WIB has their tower there. Now watch this. So right now they have full visibility. But once this goes down, they only have this. So they only have that. Now they only see Nerf. However, and I'm sure they already understand this, they're going to see a lot of these folks start to pile in this area once they move forward. WIB is currently up a little bit faster than 60GT. 60GT is also still assaulting the Sky Altar, although Heracles looks like he will be able to hold this Sky Altar alongside of YSS as we go into the middle fight time frame. 4 minutes remain. Lower visibility for WIB. Again, we do have WIB only having visibility here. Don't see any folks from 60GT because they don't have the visibility. They placed their hidden sentry here, which again, having 60GT place their hidden sentry here, they were able to see it and they were able to destroy it. Luckily for 60GT, because WIB owns this area now. Now, if WIB was able to hold their sentry up, they could have actually destroyed the 60GT sentry and then denied them some visibility as they continue to pour into the middle. Let's go ahead and get both visibilities here so we can see what's going on fully. All structures currently are held by their respective proper teams. We have rallies still going out from Joseon overall against the Shrine of War likely. We do have a few marches up here to help swarm this, although there is some defenders here from 60GT to be able to hold this fairly well. Depends on how it all goes out. The mid fight, though, likely to start getting heavy in a hurry. We have 60GT piling up, doing a very good job of stacking on top of each other. As we see the dots accumulate, it's coming in relatively at the same clip, although I think the extras coming in for 60GT are much heavier than WIB. WIB likely was a little bit delayed because of the Sky Altar capture here over by the blue team. Although it wasn't captured, it was just delayed. All teams will be even on the score relatively as this mid-fight starts to break out. Lots more reinforcements coming in from the middle. On the base side of WIB. And again, I think 60GT, while they were behind on getting to the middle first, I think 60GT has gotten the bulk of their forces there a lot faster. If I was WIB, I would not be pushing this fight. I would be bringing it back. That's exactly what you should be doing, WIB. Just knowing what I know, which most people, don't know unless you're watching this fight with me. We do have, by the way, almost 900 people watching. Make sure you share this link and have more people come in here and watch this as we cast this first clash of 60GT versus WIB in the semifinals. Make sure you also throw your hopeful winner in the chat as well, and make sure you pay attention to the chat because there will be codes being given out throughout the match for you to use inside the game for some sweet little rewards. WIB continuing to position forward on the Temple of Osiris. 1 minute 30 seconds remain until this temple spawns its glorious treasure, the Ark of Osiris. First one being worth 3,000 points. Both teams relatively even, about 150 point difference, 200 point difference. Points per minute favoring 60GT slightly. There is an outpost discrepancy. There's also a lot of buildings flashing. The Sky Altar holding firm. Shrine of War. Looks like it may actually go down during this fight. That's exactly what's going to happen. Let's go to the mid fight. We're going to see this Shrine of War likely turn red here momentarily. We do have the Sky Altar also under heavy assault on the bottom lane too. 60GT holding very well on that Shrine of War. I thought for sure it was going to go red sooner than it has. It is barely, it's right there. It's right there. And then there we go. I spoke too soon, but it did, in fact, happen. Nostra Drago is in the house. All right, here we go. WIB is positioning. 60GT is positioning even further down to try and get a nice sideswipe engagement. Looking to see WIB coming around this Temple of Osiris, knowing that that's going to delay the reinforcement and the initial punch of this fight. Total Vision being used, which provides a damage bonus and visibility buff. We should see more. I'm about to say we should be seeing more skills being used. WIB using Heaven's Grace very early, although again, appropriately timed. The fight had already started. About maybe 5 to 6 seconds of damage had already gone off. I feel like I would have waited for that first set of AoEs to go off, but still right there and doing exactly what they need to do. Dust Up being used by 60GT, delaying reinforcements in from the middle for WIB. Although again, WIB looking like they're holding their own at least in the middle. Both teams losing chunks of damage, chunks of troops as we continue to see this fight unfurl. We do have the Arc carried right now by WIB, moving fast. Nice grab by WIB and moving it very, very quickly. It is dropped currently. 60GT has dropped it, but again, look at the sides losing troops. I think WIB is a little bit on the advantage right now, although again, it's starting to even out again. I feel like maybe this is going to go back and forth a little bit. This is going to be a long first fight. Now 60GT grabs the Arc and is moving it back towards the temple. It does drop. We do have both teams losing chunks of troops, although that was a big chunk by WIB. Big chunks by WIB getting lost. 60GT maybe starting to win the open field battle here to maybe grab this Arc and make a run for it. 60GT does grab the Arc, and as we see again, Shrine of War still on the side of WIB, although all the other structures are where they're supposed to be, but this mid-fight starting to prove too heavy for WIB. 60GT starting to pull away, I think. More and more marches available for the blue team than the red team, and you're starting to see big chunks for both teams go back, but a little bit more for the red team. 60GT may, in fact, grab this, at least initially. Now, WIB does have it, does drop it. It's still right beside the temple. It's anybody's Arc, but the problem is Dust Up was used against WIB. The delayed reinforcements are definitely impacting this fight. Now, it's still a fight right now. 60GT is starting to clean it and starting to move it. The question WIB needs to ask themselves is, do they want to reinforce through the middle, or do they want to start reinforcing up the bottom lane to come in and cut these reinforcements off and try and take the Shrine of War again, and then also, again, clear this field, which is mostly half dead. You have a lot of almost dead marches except for the Arc carrier. Well, that Arc carrier is also half dead. Yeah, everybody's half dead. So with that being said, we have reinforcements with full marches coming in on the top lane here. I look to see WIB push heavy towards the bottom lane. Instead, they're choosing to go through the middle lane, and with Dust Up being cast, it's going to be very slow moving, very slow going to catch up with this Arc carrier. We do have reinforcements coming down from 60GT through the middle as well. I feel like WIB needs to change. Exactly. Josen's coming up through the backside here. I feel like if they want to make a major push for this Arc, they should be coming through the bottom lane. That's going to be a more direct approach. It's less movement to have to go all the way around this big structural ruins area. And then now, again, you'll be able to be in front of where the Arc is captured, and then you'll be able to put a big blob in between here while simultaneously capturing the Shrine of War again. But instead, going around this back end, you're always trying to play catch up, and you're going to get hit along the way. That's going to be a slight problem for them. Arc is down. You have the Arc down. That will help the 60GT folks coordinate around here. It will also help WIB catch up a little bit more as Dust Up wears off for 60GT against WIB. So now Dust Up is gone. We do have normal movement speed moving across the board here. Arc of Osiris is captured, at least for right now, by 60GT, and is currently being carried by a double C with less than half health, activating that charge talent on the cavalry tree. Very, very strong. We do have WIB again coming up. Josen, that's the one I was talking about earlier, hitting right as that Arc carrier comes over here. Now we have two places we can take it. We can take it to the Shrine of War if they decide to push that, or the outpost over here, which would be a lot more dangerous, would be a good word for it. Arc is still being captured right now. Let's see who grabs it. WIB grabs the Arc. Let's see which way. They're going down. Exactly what you want to see. Now you're starting to see more marches coming in here from the bottom. I still think that you need more. This Justinian rallying is doing a great job against this Heraclius, though. They may lose the Desert Altar to try and capture this Arc. I don't know if it's going to be enough for both sides. I would not be going after the Shrine of War. I would just keep trying to bring it down. You have the structure benefit now of being able to just come up through here and grab this. This is a lot closer than it looks like. We do have WIB coming around the back end as well. Lots more marches coming up for WIB. Again, if these are likely from the top, most of them from the top lane, some of them from the middle. And again, I think the better play would be to come up through here, especially if this is where you're trying to bring it. We do have the Arc sitting over here right on the corner of this structural area, and it's going to be a major push for this. This is going to be the second main fight. I'm curious to see if any skills are used. We did see WIB use Heaven's Grace earlier. We also saw 60GT use Total Vision and Dust Up. Arc going back to the middle. Interesting. This would be a farther run for 60GT, so it's not the worst idea in the world. Again, you do have the majority of your marches coming up from the middle as well, so that's always a good thing to do too. Again, this Desert Altar was captured by 60GT, although it will be grabbed back by WIB, but point generation delay is a thing and very important in Osiris League and Ark of Osiris play. WIB still has the Ark and is running it back. They may have actually taken this and moved this ball back through to the middle, but again, once we're back in the middle, it's like nothing ever happened, and these last 5-6 minutes were for nothing. We do have a lot of movement happening across the board here. Again, 60GT really pressuring these structures. Shrine of War goes down the top lane in favor of 60GT. That should be for WIB. Same thing for the Shrine of Life. And again, that's critical, not only because it's point generating, but because it offers a 5% march speed bonus and a 5% health bonus. That's going to be very critical when it comes to moving this Ark. And WIB does grab it again. They are moving. There's a Julius Caesar primary on the open field. Likely was supposed to be a garrison garrison filler, but instead deciding to go ahead and do what he can and do a little bit of damage to get this Ark back. Ark is down again. Big fights continuing to happen here. 60GT starting to get cut off from behind. This is what I'm talking about. This is what WIB needs to do. They need to cut the reinforcements coming to the mid fight. The problem is 60GT is clearing this fight so strongly. WIB is losing their field on the middle area. So it's back and forth. I think if this was a little bit more coordinated, maybe it is a little more coordinated and I'm just not seeing it yet, because we do have a pincer maneuver coming in, but 60GT just needs to hold firm and start casting AoEs nonstop, and it'll be a buzzsaw. 60GT does have the actual Ark and is still moving, resetting the timer, obviously, 14 minutes, 50 seconds until the Ark respawns. Certainly this will not make it to its destination as WIB continues to try and assault this Ark carrier. We do have the buildings starting to even out again, back in the favor of each respective team, although 2 outposts are still blue. Ark is back down again. We do have more marches coming from both colored teams coming to the Ark area to try and win this Ark. This is 3,000 points. It is a 1,200 point match currently in favor of 60GT because of the points per minute difference. 620 points per minute versus 350. That's going to help you when you're trying to win this match. We do have 60GT grabbing the Ark again. We also have WIB continuing to pursue, although again, it's 60GT has the advantage. 1, because it's close. 2, because they're already assembled here, and they're just buzzsawing all these marches coming in one at a time. WIB can't afford to consolidate first and then push, because the Ark will have moved too far. So they have to do it this way. But unfortunately for WIB, 60GT understands that, and they're buzzsawing marches coming in as they come in. And I just don't know if it's going to be quite enough, as 60GT has started to pull this back towards their area. Hidden Sentry being used by 60GT on the bottom lane, checking reinforcement times, seeing if they're getting pushed on the Sky Altar area. Good defense for 60GT, although there is a nice player over here from WIB hanging out and maybe trying to spring a trap. We'll have to see what that looks like later down the road. 60GT, however, has really cleared the field here. One last remaining WIB player attacking this Ethelfled, this poor Ethelfled. Although the Guan player does go down. And just like that, 60GT has officially grabbed the Ark and has carried it well enough, I feel like, to get it safe. Now, they will likely hold it, I'd imagine, until they feel like they're comfortable to reset and start attacking the structures again. Speaking of structures, though, Sky Altar in favor of blue was taken 30 seconds ago by Justinian. WIB is trying to grab this back, but there is enough 60GT to hold this area at least. Ethelfled, however, a very poor choice for Garrison, and she will likely go down in favor of the red team here very shortly. Desert Altar holding firm. Sky Altar just taken back. Shrine of Life, excuse me. Another reinforcement goes into the building. We have a rally plus swarm. This likely will go back down in favor of 60GT. There's Leopard from 60GT. We do have the Ark again, well escorted, well defended, and going right back towards the obelisk area. Now, again, the question is, how long do they hold it? I feel like they'll likely hold it for a little bit just so they can reset and push the structure game as they take the Shrine of Life and look to try and capture maybe another altar as we wait for this next middle fight to happen. There will be another middle fight unless some shenanigans happen from WIB where they come over here and grab it and reset the timer. Middle is pretty much clearing up. We have WIB coming up here through the middle to try and kill maybe some caravanners or possibly grab some outposts. Let's check this fight over here. There we go. Sky Author goes down in favor of WIB. WIB takes the building. As much 60 GT is around here, I'm very surprised that they allowed that building to get dropped. XY, the choice for Garrison, because there's probably not much of a better option. WIB taking this and likely not planning on keeping it, although there is a Heraclius sitting right there conveniently. Nice job by WIB grabbing the building and then properly garrisoning it, being a forward-thinking alliance. Now 60 GT swarming it back down, trying to take this back and get their points generating in a quick way. Speaking of which, points generation, big chunk landing on the 60 GT side. It is now a 5,000 point match in favor of 60 GT with that arc capture. First 3,000 point arc is secured for the blue team. And as we see that timer starting to tick down again, 7 minutes, 50 seconds, WIB needs to get back into this game in a big way. They need to keep their buildings and keep changing the building's color for their opponents to delay point generation. And they're definitely going to need to win this next arc, I think, as well, for them to get back in this match. 5,000 points is definitely doable. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's definitely not outside of their scope. They can all do that. We do have more marches coming in through the middle for WIB, likely to harass some outposts, although there is a contingent of 60 GT here to ward these guys off. We see a big fight happening down here on the Desert Altar area. Heraclius, again, is the choice. I'm curious on the choices of Garrison here. I do see a lot more Yans and cavalry-based commanders for 60 GT. I do see a lot of Heraclius and multi-troop type commanders on the side of WIB, and I think that's a conscious choice. I think that Heraclius obviously being allowed to use more troop types more effectively because of his skill set, being a leadership garrison commander, provides the ability for anything around that altar or that shrine to be able to jump in and provide maximum benefit. Now, conversely, we do have 60 GT using mostly cavalry-based garrison commanders. And what that does is that allows the reinforcements, who are likely to be cavalry, to be able to to get there faster, which means faster reinforcements, which means faster swap times, which means faster garrison swaps, which means just all the benefits that you want as a garrison. Now, the problem is swarming's a thing, and swarming's a big deal in Ark of Osiris and Osiris League, and particularly when it comes to these shrines, because you can only have 1 million troops in your Shrine of War, no matter how good you are with swapping your garrison reinforcements. When you have 7, 8, 9, 10 marches swarming a structure, the damage output, especially with these newer generation commanders, and there it goes, you see a lot of these newer generation commanders that have these really high-end skill damage numbers. It's just too much to reinforce. It's almost impossible, even with the best teams, to be able to reinforce after getting swarmed by the enemy, especially if there's a rally on it too. Hidden Sentry being used by 60 GT. Curious about the placement. Okay, being prepared, getting prepared for the middle fight, and very good placement. Interested to see if WIB places theirs again down here, or if they decide to go up here and see some reinforcements. They do see, so 60 GT does see the WIB contingent coming into the middle, so they're likely to start following suit. I don't see any Hidden Sentry for WIB over here on this side, although the Shrine of War is still red, although maybe not for very much longer, as 60 GT continues to harass this Shrine of War and try and get it back into their color, generating some points. Still a 5,000 point match, relatively even on the points per minute, a slight advantage to WIB. Shrine of War does go back down in favor of 60 GT with 4 minutes 44 seconds until this mid fight starts. So again, we're looking to probably see this fight start in about 2 or 3 minutes. Now, this is the build up time, right? So WIB is building up their marches from the top lane, from the bottom lane, and likely from still the middle, because we're still only about halfway through this match. 0 teleports available for both teams. Again, remember, you can teleport while you're on the map now. Before, that used to not be the case and was very painful. All the buildings currently in their respective colors the way they're supposed to, although, again, Rally going against this Yan from this Tariq. And it looks like this will likely hold in favor of 60 GT. Shrine of War still under assault, although Guan Scipio Prime not going to be the one to do it. And all those buildings looking pretty good for their teams. Now, 60 GT, on the other hand, heavily assaulting the Shrine of Life, and looks like it may actually have enough to get this thing down. We have an AoE silence, we have a fast casting rage reducing XY, we have a heavy late gen commander skill damage wise, and we've got Boudica Prime debuffing the skill damage taken and causing a crap ton of skill damage. So WIB doing a great job of holding this. I feel like they should have lost this based off of what I see, but coming in and reinforcing right at the right time, doing a great job holding this structure before this mid fight starts. They don't want to lose this. 5% health and 5% march speed bonus for a mid fight is two fantastic buffs to have. And with the rally going down here and with the other swarmers looking like they're losing enough health, looks like WIB held that. That was very strong by WIB. Now we do see, again, the sentry was placed there, so they were able to take out the 60 GT reinforcing sentry. Let's see what the vision is. 60 GT sees nothing. They see nothing because that hidden sentry was not hidden after WIB placed theirs on top of their structure. So this is good for WIB. Obviously, knowing what you have, them not knowing what you have, is a very strong thing to have right before you start this mid fight. If I was WIB, I would make them come down because, well, that's not going to happen. WIB pushing towards the temple, revealing their numbers, which again, not that big a deal, but still any advantage against 60 GT, you want to keep and hold with both hands because 60 GT is a known commodity, the winningest alliance in this game in the Osiris League system. So very strong moves made by both teams here. I think, again, being a 5,000 point, less than 5,000 point match, this next arc is critical. 3,500 points goes to the winner. All the structures currently looking to be there on the right colors, except for these back two outposts, which again, don't seem like they mean anything with 30 points per minute, but it does, especially when they stack up at 60 points a minute. That's almost the Shrine of Life or Shrine of War from a point standpoint, and it's 3 obelisks points per minute wise. We do have WIB looking a little bit like a lobster. We have the head. I'm sorry, 60 GT looking like a lobster. We have the head, we have the body and the tail, and then the two claws right here. Conversely, we have WIB looking like a sea urchin, falling up right here in the middle, not really having a whole lot of deviation from their circular formation here, except for the Pong and Mancha player here. Total vision being used by 60 GT. Again, damage bonus and visibility bonus. Dust up again being used by 60 GT. Again, these are solid alliance skills to use in these mid fights. Reinforcement speed is critical as we look to see who wins this next mid fight. Both teams kind of staring at each other, letting them go ahead and ball up. Wonder if this guy's going to try and go inside this. Doesn't look like he is. He's standing out in the open, trying to maybe draw a few people off. 60 GT pushing, though. We do have WIB starting to push as well. I wonder if To the Death is To the Death being used by WIB. Let's see if Heaven's Grace is being used by 60 GT. The counter to the Death is not too bad. Total Vision also being used by WIB. This is one of the best damage combos in the game from an alliance skill standpoint. WIB using all 10 of their points using these skills. Now, reinforcements are going to be slower for WIB, but again, the damage bonus stat numbers are going to be in favor of WIB, at least for the beginning. Now, we do see a lot more 60 GT going home than WIB. We do have WIB going home too, but a lot bigger clip of 60 GT going in. Let's see if this is going to be enough, as we see all the structures also looking very good on the red side too. So many marches for 60 GT going back. This was the right play for WIB. We see WIB starting to really win this fight, although 60 GT starting to turn it around a little bit. Heaven's Grace doing a good damage, a good number on these, the damage numbers happening by WIB, but WIB is currently winning this fight for sure. 60 GT doing everything they can, but unfortunately just not enough. That combination of To the Death and Total Vision, very, very successful in these mid fights, and WIB looking to clear the field in the middle against 60 GT, which again, very, very, very rarely does that happen. 60 GT possibly losing this mid fight against WIB. Now 60 GT continuing to come in from the back sides and is likely going to be looking to see which side WIB decides to take the arc to. That's going to be another critical move. We do see it going and getting dropped, although it looked like maybe they're going towards the top side. I don't see any kind of pushing, maybe a little bit coming from 60 GT. 60 GT is continuing to pour into the middle though as this mid fight continues. WIB looking very damaged in the middle though. A lot of marches are left over for WIB, but almost all of them are red and yellow. This is going to be something that may pay dividends for 60GT in the end. Jockle is, in fact, going south with this arc. And again, I would recommend going around the right side of this ruins area, really giving yourself the benefit of distance away from your city versus them having to capture it here or something like that and having all of your marches come up here to defend. This may not be quite over yet. We do have 60GT continuing to push down. We do have them coming towards the middle as well, although WIB doing a great job of holding that middle area still. And maybe 60GT is actually starting to shift their attentions towards the structure game, as WIB really has good control over this, using their to the death, using total vision. Both of those skills together really proving successful in the mid fights, as we've seen throughout this Osiris League Season 7 playoffs. Using those new skills in conjunction with the old skills has been a great bonus for these teams. Now again, we do have a 4,600 point match currently in favor of 60GT. Points per minute again in favor of WIB. A lot of that had to do with the outposts that were taken during that middle fight. We do have Desert Altar held by, again, Heraclius, with the WIB contingent coming in from the middle and from their home area, from their obelisk on the bottom lane. This arc still moving and getting around the left side, which again, I recommended the right side just to be extra safe, but this is still pretty safe. We do have this Ethelfled coming in here to at least just needing to tap this XY, really. Once this XY gets tapped, it will drop the arc. And there is a nice sentry being placed by 60GT as well to see what's going on down here. Ethelfled will not make it, though. Maybe it will make it. This player needs to go around, just tap that Ethelfled to kill it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ethelfled doing a little bit of damage. Still not quite enough. But there is more blue coming in here to try and delay this arc capture. Arc is going back, and they are not capturing it anytime soon. His line is all the way to the back of their obelisk area from a port-in standpoint. Arc does go down, but again, plenty of WIB here to take care of it and make sure that they kill the T1 marches from 60GT to get over here quickly enough. Just don't know if it's going to be enough to actually grab it. And again, there's so many WIB over here, it's going to be just fine. Likely was trying to grab the arc and run with it as fast as they can, move it as much as they could. WIB holding their Desert Altar area very strong, but losing the Sky Altar is WIB against 60GT. 60GT has a nice big chunk of players over here taking this Sky Altar about 30 seconds ago, and will be able to likely hold this and maybe generate a point or two in their favor. Now Shrine of War under assault. It looks like WIB should have enough here to hold it. Looks like there's a lot of 60GT, though. This may go down just from a swarming standpoint. Like I said, a lot easier to swarm these Shrines of War with only 1 million troops being able to reinforce in the garrison. These open field marches being so strong and causing so much open field damage against these. Yeah, I mean, you've got a full blue ring against the Shrine of War. It is very likely to go down in favor of 60GT, although WIB is still holding, reinforcing properly, doing a great job of swapping. Let's see how this plays out. I think this is going to be one where it could go down to the wire. Arc in the obelisk area on the bottom lane for WIB. So again, that's 3,500 points. That'll basically make this a 1,000-point match right now, which is exact. Oh, 60GT takes it by the skin of their teeth. Few marches here. Raw ability. He might have been the garrison possibility. Possibly that's why. Arc is secure and safe. And now WIB moving out, trying to hold. Oh, big push. Big push by WIB here, or by 60GT against WIB. This is going to be painful for WIB to hold this Desert Altar. Is there any push? There's no push for WIB against the other Desert Altar. Taking their Shrine of War back here, but again, damage is done. Points stop generating for 2 or 3 minutes there, depending on if they used hard push, which they didn't, I don't believe. Heraclius is the garrison choice here again, the Desert Altar. There's a lot of 60GT here, a lot. And with WIB trying to hold as best they can, trying to kill these open field swarmers and reinforce at the same time, it may just not be enough. And just like that, blue goes the Desert Altar. And all 4 altars are currently blue. Points per minute is huge. This is exactly what you don't want to see if you are rooting for the WIB red team, because 60GT is doing exactly what they need to do since they lost that arc, and that's stopping point generation from WIB and increasing their own point generation. Right now, it's over a 500 point per minute advantage. Every minute this match goes on the way it currently sits, that's going to be more and more points eating away at that 3,500 point arc that WIB has. And everything's blinking, guys. Everything is blinking. WIB is under full defense right now, trying to take their buildings back, but 60GT having none of it. They are holding these altars as best they possibly can. WIB doing everything they can to get these buildings back because they know they need to get these buildings back. And they will eventually, but again, damage being done by 60GT from a point per minute standpoint. It's still a 450 point per minute advantage for WIB, or for 60GT against WIB. Shrine of Life holding up firm here. Desert Altar still very blue. Open field area here looking very strong for 60GT as well. Sky Altar still very blue and still has plenty of marches here to reinforce, although it looks like it might go down if nobody jumps in there. They need to go in the next half second. Red may be able to take this here. And just like that, it does go back red, but there's still plenty of 60GT to get the ball rolling. And that resets the timer. Again, 2 minutes on the timer for 60GT, or for WIB. 60GT trying to reset the timer again. Desert Altar is also under heavy assault by WIB. 60GT doing a great job of holding it. However, again, heavy swarm by the red team WIB. Lots of Guans for silences on the AoEs. This could go either way. Shrine of Life under a little bit of assault, but looks pretty good. Sky Altar on the bottom lane goes in favor of WIB as well. So both Desert Altars currently in 60GT's hands. Both Sky Altars currently in WIB's hands, although points per minute wise, again, still a 240 point lead in favor of the blue team. Now, the arc was captured. We do have the timer ticking down again. It's currently 23,000 to 21,000, so it's about a 2,000 point match in favor of 60GT. This next arc is really going to be critical for WIB to capture and possibly win this match going into the final round. That's why they captured it when they did. They wanted to make sure that another arc fight happened and that they had time, if they did lose that middle fight coming up here in the next, I'd say, 3 or 4 minutes, to have a second shot at it and still bring it back to one of their buildings. That's going to be critical. We do have the Desert Altar being held firmly by 60GT, doing very well there. Same thing here, although WIB looks to try and take this back momentarily with a Zenobia garrison. That's a very strong garrison for forward because of the heal. But we do need a lot of troops, which there's the Guan. Zenobia dies, goes back down in favor of the red team. I had to wait just a little bit longer to say that. Shrine of War under assault as well, but this Yan looking very strong. Sky Altar still very strong for WIB, although more marches are coming up from reinforcements. These are 3 different players, so these should all be reinforcements going in to the Sky Altar, keeping this 4th player being able to come up, and then the 5th player being able to come up. This is good. For WIB needs to hold this as long as possible. They need to generate some points and win back some of that total, and just like that, it's a 230 point delta switch. Now WIB holds the advantage and wants to get as many points during this time frame as possible before this next arc spawns in just under 6 minutes. Now this last arc is going to be the game winner. Whoever wins this will win the next match and move on to the finals. Heraclius holding on with his bare knuckles. It looks like eventually 60GT will take this down in favor of the blue team. And there it goes, just like that. Middle fight shaping up soon. WIB pouring into the middle, knowing how important this arc is. Now 60GT doing the exact opposite. Starting to congregate over here at the Desert Altar, maybe pushing towards the Shrine of War and coming in from behind. Now, luckily for WIB, a lot of their marches are going into the middle early. No, they are going to go to the middle. Okay, so that's a smart play for both teams. WIB, if they were behind and 60GT had gotten down here quicker, they could have completely cut off one side of reinforcements to this middle fight. But WIB, knowing the point of this middle next fight here to be the next winner of this match, this is going to be very, very critical. And nice by WIB to take out this tower sentry here. This is a good thing from a visibility standpoint. Let's see, we have some visibility on the temple. That's interesting. Okay, so this is the WIB view. Now, this is the 60 GT view. How do they have somebody here? Is there a march back here? I guess you can always see the temple. That makes sense. So this is the visibility for WIB. WIB has decent visibility. They see where the congregation area for 60 GT is, although they can't see the full contingent coming in. This is a lot of players. Now again, remember, 60 GT still should have To the Death in their pocket. They still should be able to use Total Vision, whereas WIB will have Heaven's Grace, will likely have Dust Up, and maybe like War Drums or something. They're not going to have To the Death. To the Death may prove the main thing here. I think WIB, if they want to have a chance at winning this mid fight, they're either going to have to lose fast and recover all to one side, or they're going to have to just bring everybody to the middle, like, and just say screw the buildings. And that's going to be tough against 60 GT because they do not stop rallying. They continue. Now, right now, there's no rallies for either side. As I say that, no rallies for either side because, again, this mid fight is going to be critical. Hidden Sentry being used by WIB. Very good placement right here. They're going to get great vision for this entire fight. They have two sentries, one right on top of the other. All buildings are currently equal. It's a 1,400 point match in favor of 60 GT currently. This arc being worth 4,000 points. That means this next arc win would seal the deal for 60 GT, or it may let WIB take the victory out at the very end, depending on provisioning, depending on how the points per minute looks over the next 13 minutes. This is going to be something that we're going to see in the coming week. I feel like people are going to analyze this and see what went right, what went wrong. Right now, we're seeing everybody positioning themselves, getting bundled up. It's chilly out there, even though it's in the desert. Both teams really just sending everybody. I feel like maybe Dust Up would be used by 60 GT as well. They love using that Dust Up skill to slow the reinforcements of their enemy. 60 GT has used that pretty religiously in every single major fight in this match. Shrine of Life is under assault, although it's only by one troop. Double C led. And I look to see this match kick off here in about 10, 15, 20 seconds. As we have 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining until this arc spawns. And again, positioning is going to be critical here. 60 GT trying to get as close to that temple as humanly possible without engaging until they get as many troops together as they possibly can, because again, they will be using 100% guarantee To the Death. To the Death will be used by 60 GT very, very soon. As soon as they start engaging, in fact, I think is when I look to see them do that. Now again, WIB likely will counter with Heaven's Grace, and then again, probably use Total Vision if it was me anyway, if it's available. It might not be available, because they did use Total Vision last match, or last fight too. It might not have been enough time. I'm curious to see if that is available to them or not. Dust Up. So they did choose Dust Up. They're going to use Dust Up and To the Death. That'll be their skills. So as we see this first match pop off, WIB uses Total Vision, so it was available for them. That's good. Again, reinforcements for WIB getting delayed quite a bit because of the movement speed debuff. Although, again, 30 seconds until this arc spawns. Still no To the Death. That's interesting. I thought for sure To the Death would have been used by this point, or maybe we just didn't see it. I do think that 60 GT may be winning this fight currently from what I'm seeing going back home with Sad Faces. Although it's starting to even out more on the WIB side now too. Did they use it? And I want to click this button so bad to see, but I can't. All right, so Arc is spawned. Arc is trying to get grabbed. Looks like by WIB. I start to see a lot more WIB going back with Sad Faces. So a lot of those AoEs hitting home from 60 GT. A lot bigger stream of WIB going back now with Sad Faces. 60 GT able to place a hidden sentry over here. It looks like 60 GT is actually starting to win this fight. The blue color is starting to come through quite a bit more than the red color for WIB. Yep, Definitely see a lot more marches here for the blue team than for the red team, and that's going to be a big deal. So WIB needs this structure, either structure game to start playing out, or they need to make a second play for this arc, as it's been basically cleared out the open field by 60 GT. 60 GT definitely winning this mid fight. Arc still down, although it's being picked up right now by 60 GT. 1 second remains. There we go. TC moving back with the arc. No WIB in sight. Which direction does he go? It looks like he's going south for right now, although a change in direction can be done. Knowing that, again, this is the game. Like, this is the game right here. Currently, it's a 2,200 point game in favor of 60 GT. I think some of that might be provisioning, because it was not that way, and I haven't really seen too much of a change in the buildings, although Obelisk was taken and captured by 60 GT. One march coming by here to tap it and grab it, so that's delaying 20 points per minute, which is not much, but still a thing. I think everybody's got all the teleports that they wanted as well, so it's not a huge deal. Hidden Sentry being placed again by WIB, getting some more visibility on this top lane here. It's smart. Question is it in range of... I don't think it is. All right, so lots of 60 GT over here. They know what's coming. WIB knowing what they're about to face. All out coming up from the home base area on the bottom lane. Top lane likely sending everything. 60 GT understanding that as well, killing any reinforcements on this area coming over too. This is going to be the major fight. So we have the arc about to drop likely as WIB starts to catch up to the arc carrier. There it goes. It is down. Again, 60 GT does not need to capture this. They just need to make sure WIB doesn't capture it. So if they end up taking 8 minutes and holding this arc in this area here, then that's fine for 60 GT. A win is a win. A win gets you into the finals for the realm of Anubis. Yeah, Anubis now. Now the arc carrier going towards the outpost. Is that the right move? Is that the right move? This could be disastrous, or it could be the play of the game. High risk, high reward. That's how we do it around here. 60 GT saying, we got this. Taking it to the outpost. At least that guy did. Let's see if this guy does too. And there's plenty of red coming in here, although most of them are half dead. They're getting buzzsawed coming up into here. This is exactly what 60 GT wanted to see. They're killing every reinforcement coming up through here, or at least half killing it. But again, with it being an outpost, it's only a 500,000 troop structure. That you don't need much to take that. This is the much more dangerous play. Okay, now WIB has it. Now WIB's moving it along. I don't know. I'd probably still try and take it to the outpost and take it. With 6 minutes, 40 seconds left, I'm not sure if you're going to have time to bring it all the way back to the middle. Arc does drop. Now Cruise 8 seeing the opportunity here. Going over here to try and swarm this Ethelfled will likely drop it with a Joan Prime primary and an XY primary. That will definitely take out an Ethelfled garrison. That will go down in favor of the red team, and now they just need a proper garrison over there to be able to support it and maybe hold it. I mean, heck, a Zenobia Richard might even do the trick. Just want to have as much heals as possible and just throw everything in there. It doesn't matter. But 60 GT doing a great job of clearing the field. I mean, that's really what the name of the game is here. Does look like WIB grabs it, at least for the moment, and is moving farther and farther south. It does drop. There's so much blue team here that eventually I think WIB will be cleared, and then there's just not going to be enough reinforcements as quickly enough for WIB to get here and actually make a play on this. They're going to have to take it to the outpost. 5 minutes, 40 seconds remain. There's just not going to be enough time to bring it south. They're going to have to do it at the outpost, or they're going to have to do it at the Shrine of War. Now, the Shrine of War is under assault, although the Zenobia is holding very strong. There's a Jan garrison, good here for a swap as well. WIB coming over here, they likely need to start trying and grab the Shrine of War and holding that while simultaneously grabbing this arc, because honestly, 60 GT is moving the arc that direction for them. They don't need to be here. They need to be here. and grabbing this building and holding it while simultaneously trying to drag it in. That's going to be the play. It's going to have to be the play because we're at 5 minutes remaining. There's just not going to be enough time between the movement speed debuff of the arc and also the fact that the arc carrier, if it is red, will be harassed heavily by the blue team the entire way back south. And by the way, blue team has taken almost the entire map during this whole process. I've been sitting here focusing on this arc, and all 4 altars are currently blue. The obelisk on the bottom is still blue. Only 2 shrines remain in 1 obelisk and 3 outposts for the red team. All altars are blue. So even if WIB does capture this, currently right now it's a 2,500 point match. This is a 4,000 point arc. Problem is though, points per minute, this is about to get out of control. Points per minute wise, you're going to likely see it be almost 1,000 to less than 200 here very shortly if this continues for 60GT and WIB. 60GT won a great job of clearing this field, and just like that, I think that this has been done by 60GT. I think they've secured the win, and wow, what a match. This came back down to the last mid-fight. WIB not giving up, WIB showing up during KVK. This is a great match that they got to fight in. And again, this is one where I feel like they earned the right to fight up against the biggest champion this game mode has ever seen in Rise of Kingdoms. I mean, this is the biggest champion in the game right now for Osiris League and 60GT, having won 3 times prior. And again, this is going to be something that WIB can build on as they look to come back. Master strategy being used. Oh, they're using master strategy to teleport a bunch of players over here. Is that going to actually do enough? It takes 20 seconds to move. I don't know if it's going to be quick enough. They're just going to capture it. They're just going to capture it. This Nevsky has enough health to make it to that city right there. And there's all the red team members right as they see the arc get captured in front of their eyes. Oh, what a great move by WIB, but at the same time, just a little too late. Moving those troops. If it was 20 seconds earlier, this could have been a big deal. But I mean, I'm going to basically be able to sit my camera on one screen on this map, this huge map, and be able to show you every player that's in this match right now because they're all right here. And with 2 minutes 46 seconds left, again, 3 minutes really is when it happened. 60GT secures the win, goes into the finals as we see a 7,000 point lead for the blue team. WIB fought valiantly. They won that middle fight. I'm still surprised, and maybe it just didn't show on my screen, but I'm still surprised that To the Death wasn't used by 60GT. I feel like it was, and it just didn't show. So we're going to have to go with that. That's what I'm going with, because 60GT had To the Death available, and to not use it would have been a massive error on their part. So, but yeah, no, WIB did great here. 60GT doing everything they can to, make this a fun match for the remaining 2 minutes, and WIB doing the exact same thing. I think both teams deserve a huge kudos. Make sure you throw your appreciation in chat and let them know that you appreciated the match that they put on for you today. And I know I did. I enjoyed casting it. I'm going to lose part of my voice a little bit maybe from this cast as the Shrine of War is taken by WIB. Over here, that would have been great about a minute and a half ago. Again, 60GT doing everything they needed to do to win. WIB doing everything they needed to do to put themselves in position to win. But unfortunately for the red team, 60GT holding firm, grabbing 2 out of the 3 arcs in this match, and solidifying the victory for the defending champions, 3-time champions. And just like that, blue is going to pull away pretty significantly here with the arc capture and the points per minute total favoring blue. Big fights happening across the board here. Lots of the red marches went back because they swarmed the obelisk there and just doing some stuff until this match is over in 45 seconds. But what an amazing match. This was an amazing match. We had a great time. Casting this for you. I know I did. And 60GT will move on to the finals to face whoever won on the other side of the Realm of Anubis bracket. We did see a major contender go down today in 1v. Spoiler alert. 1v did lose to 93T, who will be moving on to the finals in the Realm of Horus. So that's going to be a very fun finals to watch. 1v not being able to do a three-peat for Realm of Horus. 93T spoiling that. And with 2 seconds remaining, congratulations goes to 60GT in their victory. WIB doing a great job in this match, but falling just short. Leopard with the 148k MVP. Let's go ahead and move on to the summary. Total kills surprisingly favor, like, I knew it was going to favor 60GT, but I thought WIB did such a great job in the open field during multiple spots. But a 10 million kill difference, that's a little higher than I anticipated for 60GT to have the advantage. I looked to have it be like 80 to 77 or 80 to 75, but no, this is about 10 million kill different. That's pretty substantial. Look at the units healed though. Both teams giving their all on this matchup, wanting to make it to the finals. 22.6 million units healed for 60GT and over 30 used for WIB. And again, WIB being in KVK, these are units healed that are taken away from KVK from a healing speed standpoint. So that's a big deal for them to commit that. Provisioning, WIB said screw it. A little bit of provisioning done by 60GT. And again, the tail of the tape, 2 arc captures for 60GT. Plus the structure game winning it by a little bit as well. And yeah, that was the game. I hope that you enjoyed this matchup. I hope that you enjoyed this week, the semifinals week of the Osiris League Season 7 playoffs. My name is Dragothian. I really enjoyed casting with you guys today, and I hope that you enjoyed this match. I will see you guys next time. Cheers, have a good one, and take care.